they do that, the process isn't as transparent as it probably should be. Like that should be something that everyone can see those videos, but I have seen things like that before, and it's really, really interesting.
Do you know what prompted them to send that tweet about, hey, there seems to be a misconception about what isn't a repeat offender?
Just, I can't remember who it was. There were a lot of people on Twitter that were saying that, Kadri's not a repeat offender because of the 18-month rule. Is that what it is?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a lot of people that were kind of dunking on the NHL saying that, and they see that. I mean, the league sees when I don't know exactly like the genesis of which tweet or whatever pissed them off, but to me, that's someone at the league office being like, come on, like that's not what repeat offender means. Right. That those repeat offender rules are just to determine how much salary guys lose or whatever, right? But like the totality of your history still matters when they evaluate a hit. It's not like your slate is wiped clean after 18 months.
Yeah, well, and so that's the thing that we were unclear about, because the way they say it sort of does give the average person, i.e. a guy like me, the impression that it would be wiped clean. Like what, that's the thing. So I find that really interesting. So it doesn't totally wipe it clean. They still do look at your history.
Yes. Yeah. Well, like if you look at the Kadri ruling is out there publicly. If you look at it, it like goes through like all these different incidents, and all of that really contributed to him getting the number of games that he did. So yeah, they should probably clarify it better than just sending out like a tweet that's like angry at people getting it wrong. It's like, well, you're right. I mean, people are getting it wrong because they talk about this repeat offender status all the time when it comes to the fines and the number of games you get. When that doesn't really, like, they probably shouldn't even talk about that repeat offender status. Like who cares if it like changes the way the fine is calculated? Like that's not really pertinent to the conversation.
Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
I was just going to say, like, it was, the tweet was so jarring to me. Like, you're mad at your own fans for not understanding the sport. Well, if anyone doesn't understand hockey, it's your fault. You're the National Hockey League. It's your fault. You communicated poorly. You're the biggest hockey league in the world. It's your fault. Don't get mad at us. Shut up.
What's the?
I know that's not a question. I just wanted to say it.
At the very least, Steve, they should communicate it to the media to explain it better than it has been explained, and then they should just get rid of that idea of repeat offender status. They should just call it something else, and say that the fines are calculated or the whatever differently based on if you've had one in the last 18 months. But don't call it repeat offender, because then it makes it seem like it doesn't matter if you're a repeat offender or not.
Right.
Which it doesn't.
Because with Kadri, they nailed him based on, and the Wilson ones have escalated based on, guys like Rafi Torres that had multiple. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are a lot of the guys who have 4 or 5 of these. It seems like it tends to matter in terms of they ramp up the number of games that these guys are getting.
When it comes to Nazem Kadri, I mean, God, Vegas won last night. How many games would he have left? Like, can he join soon?
Game 7 is when he can come back.
Game 7. So they got to push it to Game 7. Do you have any sense from Colorado? Because I mean, I don't think anybody on the show disagreed with what he got. It was a terrible hit. You need to be suspended. That's what it was. Do you get a sense from the Colorado organization, James, about how they might be feeling about this guy doing this again?
Honestly, I haven't talked to anyone there. I mean, it's been the middle of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm sure you heard I was in the middle of another playoff series until last week.
What the hell have you been doing anyway?
I've been like that ended, and then they did like their post-game stuff, and then I just lay on the floor for a few days. And so, I didn't reach. I could have tried to talk to some people in Colorado, and I do know that they really like Nazem Kadri, and I know that when they acquired him, they were like doing backflips and like they were so happy with that trade, and they just felt like he was one of the missing pieces for them. It's got to change the equation for them a little bit if they end up losing this series and he's not part of it. I mean, it's such a great close series. He could have really been a deciding factor for them, and for him to not be available, especially when all the warning signs were there based on what he did in Toronto. I'm sure, the Leafs organization, this is the number one reason why they traded Nazem Kadri. They felt like he would do it again. They felt like he had so many chances and they couldn't trust him.
Yeah.
Shanahan suspended him personally when he was in charge of player safety, and then he joined the team.
Well, and Shanahan suspended. Remember, he was suspended for an incident that it wasn't a hit, but there was an incident where, and there was a lot of talk about Kadri's maturity, and Shanahan. I remember that day at the rink, Shanahan showed up at the rink and started talking to the media out of nowhere, and basically said, we want him to grow up, but we believe in giving him another chance, and we believe in, a lot of people were speculating that maybe he would get traded then. And then they gave him more chances, and I believe they gave him more than one additional chance after that. So I'm trying to think of with a timeline for when that suspension was. But, then they let him get suspended a couple times in the playoffs. And then they're like, okay, like we've given this guy enough chances.
And he rewarded them with 2 back-to-back 32 goal seasons.
Yeah.
And then he yoink.